All right, guys. Hey there in the Facebook world. Oh, my video is working. I am in a new system, so thank you so much for all of your patience as I work out all of the bugs and issues that I'm having with this new system. But I have a whole new show planned for you guys today, and I'm really excited about this. Well, I'm not excited about what I have to share with you guys. So, excuse me. I was doing some digging and some research into the tests. So, by the way, Jay Cherry here for anybody who's new tuning in. And today I'm going to be talking about Ned Lamont, which is our governor. Our governor right now is on vacation in Florida. Must be nice when you declare a state of emergency to be able to go on vacation to the Sunshine State where they don't have all this craziness that we do here in the state of Connecticut. So, as you guys know, we are supposed to be getting tests delivered to our towns. All of our towns are getting these tests delivered, and a lot of towns have already made announcements that they were going to be distributing tests and masks tomorrow. But what happened was there are no tests to distribute, interestingly enough. Not only are there no tests to distribute, they're on like a tarmac in LA, and we don't know when they're going to come to Connecticut. So it's interesting that Ned Lamont made that announcement, and I have a couple of questions about that. And just realized that I didn't put one of my links up there. I wanted to talk about the CDC is pulling the PCR test out of circulation starting tomorrow. So I have a lot of questions about these tests and who's producing these tests. So let's just jump into some interesting stuff that's going on. I think I could see your chat, your chats here. I think I can. All right, I see some a little bit here, guys. Yes, definitely a scam. All right, I'm gonna come back in here. I haven't been able to figure out to bring the chats into the studio, so I can see a little bit of your comments. So that's progress in my new system, which I'm working all the bugs out and hoping to have live guests soon, Ernestine. So we'll be hooking up. I'm got to be able to figure that out in this new system. But let me just jump right into some stuff that we've got with Ned Lamont. Now, I'm starting off here backwards. Let's just jump into the test. Who is providing the test? iHealth. iHealth is providing the test. Let's take a gander at the iHealth website and take a look at this and just see some of the interesting things here that we have. So these tests are antigen tests. So they're quick. They can tell they're a rapid antigen test. Oops, did I not transition this here? Sorry about that. There we go. I'm sorry. I meant to transition that. So here I can share my screen and you can see this is the iHeart self-test at home kit. Now, these guys have all kinds, like if you look at their website, you can see they have lots of different products here. And here, let's go back over to the products. All kinds of different things from the antigen test to thermometers, tracking, test strips, wearables. Who is this company? And how are they connected to Ned Lamont? Today I'm going to ask more questions than I'm going to have actual answers for. This is just wild how there's so many questions that I have about who is iHeart, what is this company, how is it related to Lamont, and are these tests PCR tests? Because I want to just make this note here, the CDC, and I'll pull that up off of my social media account, and I'll show you a link to the CDC where the CDC is talking about, well, not talking about, the CDC has revoked the EUA for the PCR test because the PCR test cannot distinguish between influenza and the coronavirus. So folks, remember when we were all like, where did the flu go? And now they have all these headlines just came out, like all of the mainstream news organizations came out with the same headline, the flu makes a comeback. You can't make this clown world stuff up. Well, apparently all that time, these PCR tests could not distinguish between the flu and coronavirus. So when you take a look, let's take a peek here. Let's go back. I'm going to switch you guys back and share this screen with you. So let's take a look back here at the iHeart self-home test and take a peruse here, because you just can't make this up. So they have this self-home test, and just a little while ago, and I'm reading through it. So it's 45 minutes. Let's take a look. Hopefully you guys can read along with me. I haven't figured out how to blow up the screen in this new software that I'm using. This is OBS software, by the way. I just want to give a shout out to all of the people who put together OBS. This is a free software for broadcasters. It's something you got to learn how to use. And if you're into technology and broadcasting, is a really great program. It's not that complicated. There's a learning curve, and I'm still learning a lot of different things. But if you're really motivated and you want to have a cool system to build your podcast on and be able to do a screen like I have here, where I can share my screen with myself in the picture, OBS is super cool and it's free, guys. I mean, like, I have to do a shout out for that because it's a really cool software. At first I was afraid of it, but I'm not afraid of it anymore. And once you get the hang of it, it's really, really exciting, and you can build a very, very cool podcast. I'm saying things 3 times today. Anyway, it's been a while since I've done a live, so I'm happy to be able to come back live with you guys. I have a lot going on. Okay, so iHealth COVID-19 antigen rapid test is the simplest way to detect, listen, SARS-CoV-2 nucleocapsid protein antigen. It only takes 4 steps and 15 minutes to complete the test. You need to collect a sample. You don't need to collect it from deep in your nose. Well, that isn't the part that I really wanted to show you. That's very, very shocking. So let's go over here. Flu or COVID? Flu or COVID? Do you guys see this? Flu or COVID up above me, right? So we got flu or COVID. Oh, you can see my cursor here too. That's great. So flu or COVID, 15 minutes to get peace of mind. In case of physical discomfort, such as fever, sneezing, cough, or fatigue, you can quickly detect SARS-CoV-2 nuclear peptide protein antigen by using iHealth COVID-19 antigen rapid test. Now, I've got questions. You know I've got questions. So, does this test, is this a PCR test? Now, I've looked through the website, and I'll put the show notes in there, guys. I'm sorry I forgot to put that in. I might be able to do that live in real time. It gets a little distracting, so I might put it in after the show airs. But I do have notes, and you can just look up this website yourself. It's iHealthlabs.com. That's iHealthlabs.com. And go look through the website and take a peek at it and tell me what you think. You know, we can have a whole discussion on who is this company. We're going to get a little bit more into that, because you guys are going to be really, well, some of you are going to be surprised, and some of you are going to be like, yeah, we know this. But it's just insane. But let's stick with the topic so I don't get too all over the place. So the PCR test, which is being recalled by the CDC, and I'm going to pull that up for you guys in just a second. Let me just get that going for you guys. I'm going to pull that up. I posted that yesterday on Facebook and Instagram. I'll pull it up on Facebook. But the CDC has recalled the PCR test. Okay, so the CDC has recalled the PCR test because the PCR test does not distinguish between COVID and the flu virus. Because where did the flu virus go? Well, interestingly enough, a lot of us were saying this all last year. We're accused of being conspiracy theorists, and we were censored for saying this, and we were right. So let me just pull this up for you guys. Hold on a second while I get this pulled up, because you can't make this stuff up. It's totally wild. You just can't make this stuff up. So the CDC pulls it back. Let me pull this up in Facebook, because I did share it yesterday. Unfortunately, this new system that I'm in, I haven't worked out how to get all of my my screenshots and stuff like that off of my main computer. So I'm just going to share it with my share screen with you guys and just share with you. And then there's a link. You can also just look it up yourselves. And it's very, very shocking that this is the case. Here it is. Let me switch over here. Sorry, guys. Hold on while I transition you guys. Can you see me? Oh, what did I do? I'm on somebody else's page somehow. Okay, hold on. I don't want to make you dizzy. I'm going to transition back. No, I didn't transition. I'm sorry about that. I thought I did. I did not. Let me just pull this up. I just lost it. So the CDC has recalled the the PCR test. They've recalled it. And I'm going to transition this. Here we go. So here it is. This is straight from the CDC website that you can see behind me on my share screen. So, and interestingly enough, I'm going to read to you right here. This is off of the CDC website. I highlighted it. It says, and you can find this right on my wall, J Cherry on Facebook if you're watching me there. All my stuff is public. You can share it there. You can take the screenshots. You can use them wherever you want. I did share this around to other platforms as well. This was, the CDC recalled this back in July, but gave test manufacturers and labs the time to change over to other tests. So I find it extremely interesting that Ned Lamont is giving up all of these tests that are currently stuck. They can't get here. We don't know when they're going to get here. I believe it was WTNH that reported that they were on a Tamarack in LAX or something like that. They're stuck. They're stuck in limbo, these tests. Why Ned Lamont said that he had all these tests and he was going to distribute them. Well, my thoughts are, is he's figuring he's going to unload these babies because the CDC has pulled the EUA off of them. And, you know, I don't know if it's a PCR. The website isn't very descriptive about that. But anyway, so here it is right out of the CDC's website. And it specifically says the CDC encourages laboratories to consider adoption of a multiplexed method that can facilitate detection and differentiation of SARS-CoV-2 and influenza viruses. Does that piss you off? Because it really is upsetting to me. All this time, the media ignores it. Have you heard it anywhere? Has any mainstream media outlet talked about the fact that the CDC is doing this? This has been information. This was released in July. This information was released in lab alert changes to the CDC RT-PCR for SARS-CoV-2 testing. Because it cannot differentiate between the flu and COVID. So then we get the headlines that read insanity. The headlines are just, I can't even believe this. I'm going to show this to you guys real quick. I don't want to scroll while you're the guys there. I'm going to pull it up in just a second. But I want to show this to you. Somebody kindly did this. Hold on a second. I want to transition you back. Okay, here we have headlines all across the United States mainstream. We've got AP News, flu is making a comeback. ABC News, flu is making a comeback in the U.S. after an unusual year off. WHYY, flu is making a comeback in the U.S. after an unusual year off. KRCA, after an unusual, they changed it a little bit. They slightly altered the headline of their report. Flu is making a comeback in yada, 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 yada. Meanwhile, nobody wants to talk about the CDC and the fact that they have recalled, or they took their EUA away. They took the EUA away in July. We've known this since July. Where is the media asking questions? Why? And then they would have known, if the media was doing its job, that the test cannot distinguish between influenza or SARS-CoV-2. Okay, and we know people like me, and a lot of you guys out there following me and watching, read a lot, spend a lot of time reading and thinking about this stuff, right? Because it affects our daily lives. And a lot of us know and have heard of the inventor of the PCR, Kary Mullis, who said that PCR can detect anything and anyone with enough cycle thresholds. So we also know now from a Freedom of Information Act that was done in New Hampshire that the cycle thresholds that the manufacturers for the testing in New Hampshire, and they're the same all over the country, so our SEMA-4, they're using 37 cycle thresholds, and the other testing manufacturers are using 40. And we know from Dr. Fauci's own mouth that you can't go over a cycle threshold above like 25. And some even say it's even lower, like to 17. So it should be lower cycle thresholds to get a positive at all. And I have a video that I'll share with you later on in a broadcast that I've shared 1,000,001 times. It's a 30-second video. You can find it on my Rumble channel. It's state epidemiologist, the Connecticut state epidemiologist Matthew Carter said at a hearing in Connecticut in March of 2020, right before our state shut down. It was one of the last hearings that I was at and attended before the massive shutdown, and we were locked out of the building and the legislators were getting drunk passing laws. Remember that? The legislators are getting drunk on the floor of the House passing laws during COVID. Okay, I don't want to get too far sidetracked. Then she won an award. That was sponsored by the Communist Party of Connecticut, and so she didn't know. That's Senator Kushner, by the way, who was drunk on the House floor. Representative Matthew Ritter, the House Speaker, he had to scold some of them, and she apologized for being publicly drunk passing legislation on the House floor. And our state house, while we were locked out. This is Connecticut for you. Total Connecticut politics. But anyway, so Matthew Carter, there's a video of him saying, this is a 30-second video where he says, you don't test healthy people. You just don't do it. You don't test healthy people. I'm going to play that video for you. But maybe I should put that up for you right now. So give me 1 second while I pull that video up. So Matthew Carter, yes, he is the state epidemiologist of Connecticut. And he said this really interesting statement about testing healthy people. And I've played this video before. You might have seen it. You may not have seen it. You can grab it off my Rumble channel and share it around yourself. Ask questions of your legislator like, why is it that we are still testing healthy people? Even Fauci himself has said that asymptomatic people do not create pandemics and spread disease. He said this. I have a quote of him saying this. Okay? I'll pull that up. It's in Bobby Kennedy's new book, which I highly recommend. The Real Anthony Fauci. He has quoted him in that book, and I'm going to do a whole segment on that show. I don't want to get too distracted. I'm going to pull up this video for you of Matthew Carter saying how the test, here we go. Hold on. I transition. This is my Rumble channel. You can find me on Rumble, J Cherry Presents, or Below the Surface. Either two of those, you're going to find all my videos there. This video I pulled off of CTN, and I had to go find it because I heard him say, I was packing up my own video equipment when Matthew Carter said this, where he was asked the question, who should be getting tested? And this is March of 2020, before everything shut down. And this is what Matthew Carter had to say. I'm not sure if you guys are hearing the audio in that, and I apologize if you are not hearing the audio in that. I won't know that till the playback. I apologize. It's a slight snafu that you may not be hearing this audio. Can't hear it. Okay, thank you. All right, you know what? So Matthew Carter's explaining how you don't test sick people. You can find this on my Rumble page. I will work out that technical glitch, and I will work out that technical glitch and figure that out for you guys. So hold on a second. I apologize for that. You can find the Matthew Carter video where you can hear the audio. I'm not sure. I'm not able to get the audio in the system. I'm working in a new streaming system called OBS. So bear with me as I have some technical glitches. One being audio and video. There's like a card that I need to put in there. Anyway, that's Matthew Carter. You can see the video here. There he is. That's a state epidemiologist. He's telling the hearing that you don't test healthy people because it leads to false positives. You can find that on my Rumble channel, J Cherry Presents, just J and then the word Cherry and Presents, and you can find that on the Rumble channel. You can share it as much as you want. I've shared it all over the place on Facebook and Twitter and everywhere, and Telegram, anywhere that I can find that I can share this video. And I still ask these questions. Why are we still doing this? Why did we ever start testing healthy people? Like, it doesn't make any sense, does it? So let's go back to iHealth here. Here we go, back to iHealth. So this is the company that is providing the test. Now let me tell you something about this company, iHealth. When you sign up for this test, they are a digital collection of information. So the quick at home, right? Yeah, ooh, wow, it's cheap. It's $6.99 per test. So you can load up. You can load up your test. Okay? You're going to load that up onto the state website. Watch, we're going to look at this. This gets you everything you need to know. There's your test, there's your swab, there's your stuff. And some people have been posting that some of the stuff in the testing is very toxic, so be careful. I don't know if it's a solution or not. I'm just scratching the surface of what's in this test, and a lot of people talking about things that are in the test that are a bit concerning. So, let's see here. So here you go. The COVID-19 testing for schools, event planners, administrators, and organizers everywhere. How convenient. Isn't it just so peachy keen? You could have to take a test to go to the grocery store someday. Does that make you feel safe? But they don't even know if the test is tested for influenza or COVID. I guess both are bad. Hey, what about this novel concept? If you're sick, stay home. Anyway, so there's your iPass. Let's take a look at that. What is iPass? There you go. iPass. You could get a QR code. So what we're seeing is that Lamont is leading us into his vaccine passport with these free tests that you can go pick up in your town that aren't there yet. While he's off on vacation in Florida during what he calls an emergency, because we remember our governor is one of a few governors in the whole country that still has emergency powers, that our legislature has totally just let this happen, that our governor is on vacation in Florida. So if we were in a state of emergency, why is our governor on vacation in Florida? The state that he criticizes all the time, too, by the way, because Governor DeSantis is like the night and day to Governor Lamont, where Governor DeSantis is enforcing all this stuff on you. Hey, man, if you want to go get a COVID test, go get a COVID test. And now people are being forced to get COVID tests to go visit relatives in the hospitals. Teachers are being forced to get COVID tests if they don't want to have the jab. Now, we're learning that this iHealth company, it gets even better than this, guys. I'm saving the really shocking stuff for next in like 5 minutes. But just to me, this is extremely shocking. So then, if you look down here, you can't see with my big noggin in a way, but I'm going to scroll up and you'll be able to see. Vaccine proof. You see what they're getting ready for? Store your vaccine record in the app. So once you do this test, your information starts to get put into the government's database. Okay? So they got, independently sealed. Okay, so here's some stuff where people, let me see if I can blow this up. I'm sorry I'm having trouble with that. Bear with me as this is a new system. But it just gives you some information that's an antigen rapid test. Like I said, I'm not really sure if this is PCR test. I do find it very interesting that a bunch of these tests are being given away, considering that the CDC did just recall the PCR test that the media is completely silent about, which is very, very concerning. So this is just more about, okay, this product has not been FDA cleared or approved, but has been authorized by the FDA under an EUA. Here's where we get a little more information. You guys might not be able to read that. It's the fine little print up here, which, you know something, reading the fine little print is always where a lot of information can be found. This product has been authorized only for the detection of proteins from SARS-CoV-2, not for any other viruses or pathogens. Okay, so I guess maybe this one is differentiating between the cold and the flu. I was unclear on that based on their own website that it could test for both. Let's see. The emergency use of this product is only authorized for the duration of the declaration that circumstances exist justifying the authorization of the emergency use of in vitro diagnostics for detection and or diagnosis of COVID-19 under Section 564B1, the Federal Drug and Cosmetic Act 21 USC 360BB3B1, unless the declaration is terminated or authorization is revoked sooner. Okay, gets better, guys. Disclaimer: if you're currently experiencing COVID-19 symptoms, please contact your primary care provider for immediate guidance. iHealth COVID antigen rapid test may take several days to ship. Okay, here we go. This is what I was wondering, and I hadn't seen this before, and I'm finding in the fine print. This is not the PCR test. It says it right here. This is not a PCR test and not valid for travel. Why? Wait a minute. But the CDC just recalled the PCR test. And if the governor is sending all these tests to your house and it's not valid for travel, why? What does that mean? Okay. So it's not valid for travel. The manufacturer of iHealth COVID-19 antigen rapid test requires that the test kits be stored at temperatures between 36 and 86 degrees Fahrenheit, so you don't want it to freeze, and any extent exposure of this test kit to temperatures beyond this range may affect quality of the test results. If you have ordered a home delivery of the test kit and expect temperatures in your area to be outside of this range at the time of delivery, it is recommended that you arrange someone to be home or near time of delivery to receive this test kit. Now, I wonder if they'll tell people this as they're driving up, because the plan was, at least in my town, I don't know about other towns, the plan was that they were going to distribute these at the high school tomorrow, but they're not here. So the plan was they're going to distribute these at the high school tomorrow. Did they tell anyone the sensitivity of this test? And why is this test not good for travel? What exactly is it good for? So, there you go. So let's go look a little bit more, because I had to ask myself, who is this company? iHealth. Well, you know what I learned from my friend Victoria Eloise, who's an absolute sweetheart, and I just want to give a shout out to all of her fabulous work. And if you guys are not following Victoria Eloise, you should. Her wall is public. She's on Facebook. She hasn't been active. I did talk to her. She's doing okay. She's tired of all this crap. She's taking a break because it's really giving her some negative vibes, and she's got to take care of herself because she's battling ALS. But you could still go over to her wall. I highly recommend that you do. She has done a lot of deep dives on all kinds of stuff that is very interesting, from our governor to the COVID test to the election. And she's a very, very thorough researcher. Anyway, she taught me some things that I've held on to. That being that we all can go to the Security and Exchange Commission and we can look up these companies. So that's just what I did. The Securities and Exchange Commission is where these companies are supposed to register their businesses, or typically they do, right? Well, this one did. This is here it is, if you guys can see this. And I don't know why it's not showing up. So the Securities and Exchange Commission has revoked. Yes, revoked. Can you see that up here? So unfortunately you can't see that. I don't know why it's not going down to the bottom here. But here's a copy of it. So you can see here, we'll take a read here. In the matter of iHealth Care Inc., failure to comply with periodic filing requirements. Failure to comply. So their status with the SEC has been revoked. Now, I don't know what that means to the company, because they're still in business. They're going to be sending you the tests that Ned Lamont is giving us for free. Yay. But they've had their Securities and Exchange Act, they've been revoked. The form has been revoked for iHealth Care Inc. That is the company. And you can click on that. iHealth Care Inc. Security and Exchange is primarily in the business of retail miscellaneous retail. for financial reporting, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, it gets even more interesting. So that they've been revoked. And this is recent. This was revoked in August of this year. iHealth's Security and Exchange Commission revoked their, so this is how it goes. It says failure to comply with periodic filing. So they are no longer registered with the Security and Exchange Commission. Respondent iHealthcare Inc., an issuer with a class of securities registered with the commission, failed to file an answer in response in order instituting proceedings, alleging that it did not file required periodic reports. Respondent again failed to respond to an order to show cause why it should not be found in default. We now find respondent to be in default, deem the allegations of the OIP to be true, and revoke registration of its securities. There it is right here, guys. Right here. I will put my notes so you guys can go check all these links out yourself. Sorry I didn't put that in there. Facebook's so easy to do it. YouTube is a little challenging because I get locked out of that account sometimes. I get censored. So I will try to get it off across on all the platforms. And Twitter is definitely challenging because it only gives you 45 characters. In the future, I might just put my notes on my website and just send you guys there so that anybody who's curious about my notes can go and look up these links. But you can look up iHealth in the Security and Exchange Commission just yourself. You can just go look up the Security and Exchange Commission. You can type in iHealth. You can find out all this information for yourself. I was quite shocked. So let's take a gander here at this. This was their first report. So I haven't read through the entire report. I read through some of it because today is really a day where we're asking more questions than I'm going to have answers for. There's a lot to dive into with this. And there's so many questions. And wait, it's really going to get juicy. This is where it starts to get very juicy. So I read through the report, and then I stopped because I had to go and look up more information about the business and the people that are owning the business. Now, it goes into all this corporate history, and I recommend I'm going to go through this in more detail, look at these companies and see what I can find they connect to, because one of the tricks that they do is they have all these companies are changing their names and doing business as something else, like, Sema4 is part of Thermo Fisher Scientific, Core Informatics, and they're in the state open checkbook as Sema Genomics. So they're always kind of slightly changing their names around. So I've been looking through this report a little bit, but what I did find is that this guy is, he's like that Noel Meijers. He's the chairman and executive officer and president. So very interesting about this guy is that Noel has a key healthcare experience, is best known for his highly successful serial entrepreneur with multiple ventures over 25 years. He's like in the elite class, guys. He's a big-time investor. And so it says down here, Noel founded Safe Rap. Well, let me get to the more important stuff that's more important. More recently, Noel saw an opportunity to revolutionize legal resources for professionals and founded the Subpoena Company and became a formidable legal vendor with attorneys and publicly traded insurance companies nationwide. Well, Noel, how come you haven't complied with the Security and Exchange Commission? Well, let's keep reading on. So the Subpoena Company, so shortly thereafter, Meijers expanded his reach with the legal sector and formed Unisource Discovery, Inc., a digital records retrieval and e-discovery. So you're going to find that iHealth acquires e-discovery, but it's going to get even juicier and where it connects to. It's very interesting. So they acquire e-discovery, a company for $107 billion, guys. Or no, I'm sorry, $107 million, not billion. Sorry about that. So e-discovery and became a thought leader and well-published author in this area. As chief executive officer and president of iHealth, Noel leads the growth of the company by applying constant, never-ending improvement in the areas of product research and development, including acceleration of software technology-based medical systems, which these folks are always bragging about how much money is to be made in your data. So like the new gold rush is you. You
are, you got a big dollar sign on your head, all your DNA, all your illnesses, all your stuff, all of it has got a big price tag. You, me, us, our DNA, our bodily fluids, our sicknesses and illnesses, our health, all of it. They are gobbling up this information. Okay, so let's look. Let's go just like, oops, I'm sorry guys, didn't mean that. Now, so I decided to check them out in a Better Business Bureau because, you know, the Better Business Bureau is an important place. Well, guess what? They failed. They fail. They fail. This is what they get. iHealth Labs gets a big fat F. This business is not accredited by the Better Business Bureau. And not only is it not accredited by the Better Business Bureau, it's had 22 complaints, 3 of which are unresolved, and this is why they've gotten a failing rating by the Better Business Bureau. 3 complaints are still unresolved. You can read this. All you have to do is type in iHealth into the Better Business Bureau's website, and you can read the complaints for yourself. They're interesting, talking about bad products, fraudulent advertising, the faulty equipment, things that don't work. It's going to get better, guys. It gets juicier. So yeah, so not only are their registration with the Security and Exchange Commission is revoked, they get an F from the Better Business Bureau. And this is the company, guys, that our governor has delivering us tests that we now know are not even good for travel. So what are they good for? If they're not recommended to use for that, why? Why aren't they recommended to use for as the result for traveling? I don't understand all that. That's kind of strange, if you ask me. So here's the Better Business Bureau, and let's go in a little bit more. Now, Crunchbase is a very interesting website. I was so tempted today to do a temporary registration to get more information, but I didn't do that yet because, anyway, I'm not going to get into all that explaining, but Crunchbase is a very interesting website. You can find a lot of information on here. And as you can see, iHealth Labs has raised $25 million in funding over one round. Who do you think is their number one funder? Let's go back and take a look. Their number one funder, number one investor, their number one funder. This is this iHealth Series Lab lead investor. This is a Chinese company, guys. Okay, this is a Chinese company, and this guy is connected to this other Chinese company. So, okay, so this gets deep. So all of the first of all, let me just say a little bit about the Chinese government and what the Chinese government is doing. And this isn't like racist or anything like this. I can criticize the Chinese government. I'm sure plenty of Chinese people would love to do the same, except they're a communist country and they can't. So that's the beauty of being in the United States where we have free speech. You know how important that is? It's very important. It's very relevant, and we need to fight hard for that. Okay, so this is a Chinese company, and they're going to have access to all your data because they're running these companies. When you start to look at these companies, they're running them to collect your data. They have already done this. The Chinese are leading the race in the collection of DNA from its people. They are leading the race. They have the largest genomic database in the world, and they lied and cheated to get it. The Chinese government used a testing company. Oh gosh, I'm losing it. It's like Beijing Genomics. It's Beijing Genomics. That's what it's called. So the Beijing Genomics company, what they did is they started testing pregnant women for birth anomalies or potential birth defects and stuff like that. And what they did is they started to collect the DNA. And they collected and they kept it in a database, and they did not tell these people. And it's more than just China, whose DNA data has been collected and stored now in their giant genomic bank that they have. And they use this DNA for a multitude of reasons, and some of them are pretty science fiction-esque. I'm not going to get into all the details of that now. I'm just still scratching the surface of what they're doing with that DNA, but I will tell you from my research and writing about the Lamont's corruption and the relationship with Semaphore and Thermo Fisher Scientific
is providing the Chinese with the technology to surveil their people using the DNA that they've collected. The types of DNA that they're collecting come from saliva. They also, what the Chinese are collecting, your iris, your facial print, your fingerprints, your blood, like everything. They're collecting it. And right now in China, what they've done is they have like a health program. So they go into these minority neighborhoods and they make these folks go through these for the greater good health physicals, where they collect all of this information on their own people and then use it to surveil them with their 5G system. I know this sounds really crazy because, like, as I say it, I'm like, I feel like I'm in like some weird science fiction movie, but this is the truth. Now, this company is not a genomics company. It is a tech company that deals with phones and data. So it's really interesting. And their one acquisition is this company. It's the, oh, I'm sorry, no, they got Deep Motion. They joined the fund. So the iHeart, here's a list of some of their investments. They have like 183 investments, but they're number one investor for iHeart. I'm sorry, why do I keep saying iHeart? This company, I'm probably massacring the name, Izami. They say, you know, the Chinese language. I have no, I'm not doing justice to the name of this company, but this company is a technology company that specifically with phones and data. And it's interesting, you got Morgan Stanley has invested in it, Sprint has invested in it, Deutsche Bank has invested in it, and I could open it up if I sign up for their free trial. That it could cost me $600 if I don't, unsign up. So I paused on that for a half a minute, but I probably will take advantage and sign up for that free trial to unlock this and get more information, because it does definitely have a lot of really interesting stuff going on here. And here you can see more organizations that have invested in them, and you kind of get a bird's eye view of some of the things that this company is doing. And the reason why it relates to iHealth is that they're the number one investor of iHealth. They're the lead investor of iHealth Labs. Now, I find that really interesting. And now let's jump over. We're going to go over to here. So here it is, has one investor. There's the Chinese company. You can see this is all in Crunchbase, which I find to be really, really interesting, okay? So this is all, so iHealth Labs has the number one investor. It's this company, Exami, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And a lot of times, there was a way to see, hold on a second, there was a way to see how much they invested. I want to say, okay, iHealth scores 25 million. So they invested 25 million into this company. This Chinese company invested into this other, this American company run by this guy who has other big investments. Basically, all these companies, they're all like connected to different venture capital groups, big banks, and it gets really, really kind of deeper than this. So I'm going to try and say all this without getting too confused about it, but they do this on purpose to make it confusing, and it's so like interwoven, and as you dig into this rabbit hole, you're just like, what the heck? So we see that this Chinese company is their number one investor in this recent series. So here's the series. You can see this is a really good website. So you can it tells you, this is what they do, these venture capitalists. They have these funds. Annie Huntress Lamont is doing it all over the place. She just did it with SEMA4. She had a big fund. BlackRock was involved in this big fund. They raised up all this money. They pay pensions with this. They're basically gambling with people's money on Wall Street with these startup tech groups and things that they think are going to sell. And one of the things that's a big seller is your DNA. Your information, you are for sale. We have to do something very serious to protect our DNA and that of our children, so that these vultures cannot do this kind of stuff, and we can advance in our understanding and technology and all that, and then where that helps humanity as a whole, instead of being used against us to track and surveil and to subjugate and enslave the people, because that's what they're using this technology for right now. I don't know if there's ever going to be a good use for this type of invasive technology. Maybe, maybe not. I don't have an opinion on that.
I don't like to be all or nothing with anything. I would prefer to, oh, I'm going in the red. I wonder if this is running okay. Hopefully I'm doing okay. Now I'm in the green. I may not be running that great. I'm going to have to work some tweaks out with doing this system and figure out why I might be in the red. So hopefully you guys can still hear me and this is still broadcasting. In that note, I'm going to move along so that if it is a terrible broadcast, I'm not going on for like too much longer. Okay, so more into this company. So this Exami company is worth $7.4 billion. Okay, and they got their fingers in a lot of different pies and is funded by 30 investors. So what I found interesting is that you got Sprint VC and Morgan Stanley are the most recent investors. Now I can unlock this list of investors, and I want to because I'm looking for the connection of where Annie, either it's Oak Partners or Oak Healthcare FinTech, where she might have her little tentacles in this, because there's got to be a way that Lamont connects into this, and I have not fully found that smoking gun. I'm starting to find pieces and putting them together here. So it's just very interesting as you look around at this company that owns iHealth that's going to be sending the test. So that's how that connects. Now let me just take you over here real quick. Now iHealth brought eDevice. Now what's really interesting about eDevice is here you're going to see how we've got iHealth and Andon Group, which is another Chinese company. It's like Andon Health Group Ltd, something like that. So if we go over to here, we could see that Mr. Liu, who is now it's interesting because in the security exchange, they named a guy named Nicholas Major, and we can see that over here. I'm sorry, Noel. So there's the guy that they're saying that owns the iHealth is Noel Majors. But we can see over here that it's, oops, sorry about that. Let me go back over here. So we can see over here that Mr. Liu is the founder of iHealth, right? And the chairman of Andon Groups. eDevice is an amazing company, and together we're going to make a difference in the healthcare world. The Andon Group, through iHealth, already has a strong presence in Europe and United States, and here in Connecticut, because Ned Lamont loves China. Ned Lamont loves China, and he loves doing business with China. So, yes, so there you go. So this guy, and so they're the leadership in collecting all this data about eDevice, founded in 2000 in France and funded by, so eDevice had two funders that started their company off, which is now like $100 and something million company. So they're funded by, when they first started in the early 2000s, Rothschilds. You got the Rothschilds involved in this, too. You can't make this up, guys. It's really wild. So they're founded in France and a big money backed by the Rothschilds. They're a pioneer in the telehealth connectivity space, providing communication solutions consisting of bespoke hardware, software, and network services to securely and safely transfer patient data with hundreds of thousands of patients of large med tech companies and healthcare organizations currently connected, and more than 3 million products embedding eDevice's technology in the field to date. eDevice is an active contributor of the standardization of the industry. Through partnerships with technology leaders, the company brings innovative connectivity solutions to medical device manufacturers. Isn't this really kind of interesting how this all is connecting to that little test that still is in here that lots of people are going to take, and where is their data and their information going to go? I'm going to tell you, to China. That data and that information will go to wherever. That's what the Chinese did. They tested all these people for something that people wanted to know about, and then they kept their DNA. And what they're doing with that DNA is they're surveilling people in their own country, and there's so many different things that they can do with that DNA. It's very concerning, okay? It's like data collection. And then it goes into iHealth, which says was founded in 2010 from Mountain View, California, which is interesting because I was reading that iHealth has a business address in Miami, Florida, where this guy, Noel Magers, has a company called U Discoveries, and they're both housed in there, and this is the same company, and it's a lot. And it's a lot. So iHealth, founded in 2010 in Mountain View, California, with its offices in France and China, is dedicated to helping people lead healthier lives. Its goal is to make it easy as possible for individuals of all ages to take a more active role in managing their health. Oh, really now? Really? Seriously? It does this by designing and manufacturing innovative, consumer-friendly, mobile, personal healthcare products that connect to the cloud. How is that information protected? Who has access to that information? Where does that information go? What do they do with that information? Can that information be hacked? The press doesn't ask any of this. You would not know any of these connections if you watch WTNH. Or WFSB or Fox News. None of them are covering the in-depth reporting that they should be. On that note, please visit my website if you want to help support my work. I'm always going to keep my work open and free to the public. But if you want to help support me, I greatly appreciate that with a donation on my website, jcherrypresents.com, where you can make a one-time donation. You could subscribe for a couple bucks. That really helps out. Have a few subscribers for a couple of bucks. I'm going to keep my content open. I feel like that is a part of what I need to do. And that's what I'm going to do, me personally. And as I can see that I'm having some glitches in my podcast right now. But your support and generosity has definitely helped propel us very far. But, it's very frustrating that the mainstream is not connecting the dots. And it's very shocking that this company, whose tests are going to be shipped to all of these communities in our state here in Connecticut, and that this is a company that has, this is controlled by a Chinese company in China that is harvesting and collecting data. DNA is the gold rush. Your data is not safe with Ned Lamont. It's just not. We've already had data leaks to Boston Consulting Group, which is something that Ned Lamont hires a lot, and he's using that as a propaganda arm. All of the Connecticut state data, anything that's in our state databases is now property of Boston Consulting Group. You can't make this up. I did a show about this a while ago. This is also in my article. Thanks to Tony G for sending me that information. He's been working really hard on exposing a lot of this stuff as well, which is thankful for all of the folks out there really digging out this information and sharing it around and putting it out there, because it needs to be put out there. So then the Andon Group was founded in 1995. This was founded in China, and Andon's productions and development team is 100% focused on delivering, I'm not sure what this is, OEM and ODM solutions. I'll have to look that up, for some of the largest brands in the world. Its factory is in Tijuana, employs or whatever. And Andon's factories are certified according to blah, blah, blah. But their main thing is also into the medical field. So let me show you. I thought that this was really funny. I don't know much about this publication, but this guy who owns iHealth Lab, CEO at iHealth Lab, I don't know who the Noel Magers guy is, but this guy says he's CEO and he's out of China, and he owns this big $7.4 billion tech company that mostly deals with smartphone technology and wearables, by the way. Trackable wearables. This company also deals with trackable wearables. Not the iHealth Lab, that's the phone company. That's, I'm sorry, I wanted to get their name, the XIO. Their company is. So here he is, and it says Mr. Liu is serving CEO of iHealth Labs. He's also serving CEO of Andon Health, and then of course he owns that phone company, which is not even mentioned here. And then it says that he is also a known thief who steals money from his employees. It says it right here. A known thief who steals money from his employees. Under his direction, the Andon share price has dropped. So here it lists these. I don't know much about this company or this publication. It did not mention his connection to
to iHealth, to the phone company that is the number one investor of iHealth. So here we go, Exami. So this is iHealth scores 25 million from Exami Ventures to expand global research, which is really interesting. So iHealth Labs, the Mountain View, California-based subsidy of China's Andon Health. Do you see how that connects? iHealth Labs is a subsidiary of China's Andon Health and has raised 25 million, a strategic investment for Chinese investor Exami Ventures. The funding will coincide with a corporate restructuring that will transform the subsidiary into a more globally decentralized company. iHealth Labs will come simply iHealth and will be split into 3 regional operating groups in Mountain View, Paris, and Hong Kong. Existing iHealth personal technology, patents, and assets will remain with the new company. And we're very pleased to have Exami Ventures as a partner in our business, said Yi Liu, chairman of Andon Health, in a statement. This investment and partnership should help to expand our global leadership in the mobile health category by providing new capabilities to accelerate growth and user acquisition. So you can go on and you can read this, the rest of this. Okay, so their technology company, Exami, turned some heads in wearable space when it announced a $13 health tracker. Now they're saying this health tracker isn't going to be ready in the USA yet, but it's going to be coming. Trust me. They want to track us. Trust me. All these wearables, all this technology, all this stuff is very, very concerning because is your data safe? Are you going to feel like do you really want to give up your kind of privacy? I mean, what do we become when all we are is a QR code? Are we still citizens? No, we're not. We're QR codes. We're like cattle. It's like we've been stamped like cattle. So it's, they're unlocking this potential. So they got this trackable wearable in China and they've undercutted other companies and blah, 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 blah. And iHealth, which was founded in 2010, makes smartphone connected medical devices, including a weight scale, blood pressure monitors, glucometers, an activity tracker, and pulse oximeter. The company has more of an explicit health focus than some of its fitness wellness geared products. Most recently, this past summer, iHealth launched iHealth Align, a tiny low-cost smartphone connected glucometer for diabetes. There is another article where it gets into, that's Advent Health and Semaphore and Centrellis. I'm not really going to cover much of that today because I haven't connected the smoking gun other than that Semaphore is Centrellis platform, and that's also another data collection service. And how Semaphore connects to all this, I haven't found that smoking gun. I'm not sure if they do connect. I'm assuming that they most likely do connect, but Semaphore is also very connected into this digital platform collection technology that gets all of our information and stores it in clouds and uses it to surveil the population. Now, it's all for your safety, of course, because COVID. Unbelievable, right, guys? I'm just blown away by this. So I pretty much covered all of the things that I wanted to share with you here on this, and it's pretty shocking. It's a lot to ingest. And on that note, there was one other thing that I did find. Did I bring that up here? Let me hold on a second. I apologize for that. I had found another thing, an article so this is Semaphore with Centrellis Health Intelligence Platform. I just want you to pay attention to that name. Semaphore Centrellis Health Intelligence Platform. I'm going to be covering more about that later on. Like I said, I haven't found any smoking gun with the iHealth. If you guys want to look into that and you have any more information that you want to share with me, many
heads and researchers make for more exposure to expose these clowns and what they're doing so that people will know and understand how serious this is. So this is Semaphore and Centralis Health Intelligent Program. So don't think like Semaphore is gone out of the state of Connecticut because they're no longer going to be testing. They're pulling out in January because of all the heat that they got. Ned Lamont is saying that it would be easier to go do business in Tennessee. You know, you can't make this stuff up. But there was something with Semaphore that was really shocking to me. So here's just a little bit more about Centralis with the Semaphore, and they put $241 million into this health intelligence platform. Like I said, I haven't connected the dots to iHealth yet, to Semaphore and Centralis, but it's something to be paying attention to. And the article that I was looking for that I may not have put up here, and I apologize for that, is it was right on Semaphore's website. But anyway, Semaphore has partnered with Moderna. It was about 6 months ago in June, 7 months ago. Semaphore has partnered with Moderna to produce the vaccine because Moderna was running out of ability to produce the vaccine, and Semaphore signed right in and said, yeah, we're going to help. So unfortunately, I don't have that link put up here. I could do a quick search and pull that up. But Semaphore partners with Moderna. I'm going to pull that up for you really quickly. And I found that on accident today. And that happened in June. And now, Semaphore is, it's actually Thermo Fisher Scientific. Sorry with that. That's Thermo Fisher. Let me type in Thermo Fisher. Thermo Fisher is Semaphore. And they partnered. Okay, here it is. So Thermo Fisher has partnered up to get the vaccine development. Let me just get that over here so you guys can see this. So Thermo Fisher is working with Moderna with the vaccine development, therapeutics, vaccine developments for coronavirus. They're very, very involved in this, and partners. Here you go. Here's the exact article. Now I want you guys to know and understand something here. Thermo Fisher Scientific is on Annie Huntress Lamont's portfolio, independent of Semaphore. It's in there. Core Informatics, Thermo Fisher Scientific, Semaphore. Those are all connected. They're like the one big giant octopus with tentacles. You got Semaphore, you got Thermo Fisher Scientific, you got Core Informatics. They're all working together. That's why when I'm really looking for that smoking gun on Centralis and Semaphore, connected to iHealth, connected to the Andon Health Group out of China. All of these things go and they connect, because I'm going to tell you right now, the race is you. The race, the gold is you. You are the gold. You are the gold. You are the gold. It's your DNA. It's your data that these people are after. And it's very, very disturbing that we are living in times like this. So this is Moderna partnering with Thermo Fisher Scientific, and you can see that happen on June 1st, 2021, guys. Do you think that that is a conflict of interest for Ned Lamont and his wife? What about the tests? And let me just show you something real quick. I want to pull this up. This was shared out today, and I retweeted it out. Oops, let me see. Where we go? Where's my Twitter page? Hold on a second. I'm going to pull you up over here, Twitter. Get out of pre-search. So on Twitter today, and pre-search is a great search engine. So I highly recommend pre-search. You're going to get a better search result with pre-search. You can find it even on Google. And you can set it up on your web browser and make that your mainstay. So pre-search is great, and let me go up to over here. So what I found really interesting, here's my profile. What I found really very interesting is that the N95 mask that the state is distributing at BYD Company is a Chinese automotive conglomerate. Okay, guys, did you see that? Chinese automotive conglomerate. Most N95s made in China do not meet U.S. standards, but I looked into it and these masks were approved. He did. He looked into it. Sure, he did. Maybe he did. I don't know. The masks were approved. So I just find it that the connection and the relationship with these Chinese companies and the fact that China has secretly acquired all of this data to be a very concerning thing and something that our press is not talking about, but we should be talking about. And then on that note, I'm going to say goodnight and God bless. Happy New Year. I'm going to be doing a lot more lives as I work through the system, and I'm hopefully going to be having guests soon as we get through the system and have audio for my videos that I put into the system, because I want to share that video. The Matthew Carter video talking about how not to test healthy people is on my Rumble channel at jcherrypresents.com. I believe I also did put it up onto my website. And thank you for hanging out. Let's continue to ask lots of questions because we need some answers, Ned Lamont. Where are those tests? Who is iHealth? Why is their relationship with the Chinese? What is their relationship with the Chinese? Where is our data going? Is our data secure? How accurate are these tests? How come they can't be used for travel? Do you plan on telling people in New England that these tests are highly sensitive to cold? So if they do go out and pick up these tests and then put them in their car as they go and run errands and it's freezing cold out and those tests sit in their car while it's freezing cold and those tests are not going to give accurate results, how accurate are those tests, Ned Lamont? What are you doing? Where is that information going? Is everybody who takes that test now supposed to upload that into the iHeart system, which is, I'm sorry, I keep saying iHealth system, which is connected to your vaccine passport? Why isn't the Connecticut press asking these questions? They should all be fired. Thank you for hanging out, guys. Till we meet again.